Hola a todos y bienvenidos a Alaridos. Yo soy Devana y hoy tenemos con nosotros a Iva Toric. Su voz lírica tiene vibraciones de metal oscuro y, como dice una de sus canciones, conoceremos su otro lado. Welcome, Iva Toric, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Hi everyone, I'm Iva Toric and I'm doing a Q&A for Alaridos magazine, and let's get right to it.
Pues bienvenida y comenzamos con esta charla o entrevista. La primera pregunta que te queremos hacer desde Alaridos es si ha cambiado mucho tu vida desde que eres más conocida. Has your life changed a lot since you have become more well known?
Yes and no. I think that I'm definitely still the same person. I'm still a very flawed human being, but I've been able to meet so many really cool people. My fans are just incredibly cool. They're way cooler than I am. I'm just glad to provide the soundtrack for the amazing lives that they lead. I've gotten more confidence with my music. Having my music out there and meeting people who like it and getting feedback is a really great process.
Después de lo que nos has contado, también nos gustaría saber algo sobre tu infancia. Así que, si es posible, tell us something about your childhood.
So I was exposed to music at a very young age. I was 4 when I started taking keyboard lessons. I really preferred to kind of go my own way and figure out how to play songs I liked on the radio and compose my own things, and I really drove a lot of teachers crazy. So I was sort of off the beaten path with regard to music in my childhood, and I didn't have a great childhood, and the song Something Happened Here off of my first album, The Devil's Mark, is about my childhood. So give that song a listen and that'll give you a little bit of a clue as to like what my creative side has to say about my childhood.
Como mencionaba al principio de la entrevista, yo considero a Iva Toric, te considero un ave fénix porque resurges de tus cenizas. El motivo es bastante claro, de todos es sabido, que has pasado por un periodo de depresión, por eso decíamos también al principio de la entrevista que esta era una charla más personal. Y vamos a conocer el otro lado de Iva Toric, es decir, la mujer que se esconde detrás de la cantante Iva Toric. Entonces nos encantaría conocer, personalmente me incluyo, cómo encuentras la fuerza teniendo en cuenta las condiciones de salud que dejan los episodios de depresión. How do you find strength given your mental health conditions?
So for those of you who don't know, I do have a lot of mental health conditions and I'm open about that. I am very privileged to have access to mental health care. And even though I live in the United States and we don't have socialized medicine here, I have health insurance and I have access to a psychiatrist, I have access to a therapist. So I'm very passionate about making sure mental health care is available to everyone. It's extremely important, and we're in a mental health crisis right now in the United States, and it breaks my heart, really, to see so many people struggling who don't have access to care.
Como decíamos, todo un ave fénix. Muchos artistas toman clases de canto, clases de baile, incluso de interpretación para sus videoclips. Y a nosotros nos gustaría saber qué haces para mejorar como artista. What do you do to improve as an artist?
I practice. I have a vocal coach. She's amazing and taught me everything I know. I try to take very good care of my voice. I warm up, I cool down, I do vocal exercises, I drink tons of water, I get a lot of sleep. I try really hard to stay in shape. in doing so, that nurtures my voice. And, you know, also it goes back to mental health care. Like when I'm depressed, it's really difficult for me to write music and to practice. And practicing, trying to take good care of myself all helps me improve as an artist and helps me stay focused in other aspects of my life as well.
¿Tienes alguna persona como fuente de inspiración? Do you have any person as your source of inspiration?
Not really a person per se, but I read a lot. I really love reading books. I'm a voracious reader. I love, I'm just getting into science fiction. My go-to is true crime or crime fiction. I also, for inspiration, I try to pay attention to what's going on around me. I follow politics. I follow social justice issues. I try to stay informed of what my fellow human beings are experiencing, because what I write about is the human experience. I bring my own personal flair to it, but at the end of the day, when you really break it down, my songs are about humanity and they're about emotions and very human situations. So what's going on in the world around me is a really big inspiration for me.
Personalmente opino que efectivamente son las mejores fuentes de inspiración, las emociones humanas. Hablando, pues, para conocerte un poco más, cuéntanos cómo te describirías a ti misma. How would you describe yourself?
I'm really bad at answering this question, so I think that's why I'm drawn to writing lyrics, really, is because music is my way of expressing myself. And when I sit at the keyboard, when I start being creative and when I start writing, I try to tap into my subconscious and I try to sort of let that flow happen. And I think that in that regard, my lyrics and my music really are who I am. I even sometimes talk about the songs that I've written in therapy. They're almost like dreams sometimes, and we want to analyze them and pick them apart and kind of say, oh, well, what does this mean, and what were you thinking when you wrote this, and sort of break down the various layers of me.
Exactamente, no hay mejor forma de describirse o incluso de reflejar lo que uno siente o piensa sino a través de la música. Y como la música es magia, o por lo menos eso por lo menos eso lo considero yo, y efectivamente estoy segura de que también están de acuerdo en que la música es magia, la siguiente pregunta tiene mucho que ver con esta afirmación. ¿Es el paganismo algo que practicas, como la Wicca, por ejemplo? ¿Is paganism, witchcraft, culture something you practice?
I am very drawn to the aesthetic. I'm one of those women that probably would have been burned as a witch. I consider myself non-religious, so I don't follow the religious aspect of paganism or of Wiccan, and I wouldn't want to misuse those labels because those labels apply to people who have a genuine religious belief. So really what I'm attracted to is the imagery. The strong, powerful woman, the goddess, the divine mother. I love imagery of birds, crows. I love crystals. I love candles and, long flowing hair and sexy moonlight dancing. And so, just like all of those things just really appeal to me. But I don't personally identify with any of those labels.
Efectivamente, y de hecho hay la historia de tu Instagram que tiene una bola de cristal negra que personalmente me encanta. Teniendo en cuenta tu pasión por los cristales, las gemas, do you have any amulets? ¿Tienes algún amuleto, algún una piedra concreta que te traiga suerte pues, a la hora de los escenarios, de los conciertos, de las actuaciones, etc.
What an awesome question. I am a little bit of a word nerd. I really love to look up the etymology of words, so I had to look up amulet, and it is Latin. Amuletum is an object that protects a person from trouble, and the modern definition of an amulet is a good luck charm. So while I don't believe that any of my crystals or my jewelry or the various things that I use to adorn myself have magical powers, they do have power for me, and they give me confidence. And you know, a lot of my jewelry I wear like armor. I love my I always have a lot of rings on my fingers. I love my nose ring. I love putting crystals on my face. I have this I'm not wearing it right now, but I have this lovely snake crystal that I like to wear, and it's gotten me through a lot of shows. So yes, I definitely have amulets, and I just want to cover myself with them.
Por otro lado, anunciar que el día 24 de este mes ya has lanzado el nuevo single Wasting Water, que está haciendo furor en las redes sociales como por ejemplo Instagram. Nosotros estamos también como locos por oírlo, escucharlo y sobre todo disfrutarlo en el especial de Alaridos de Samaín. Cuéntanos un poco acerca de tu proceso creativo. What is your process creative?
What I try to do for a first draft is I try to tap into my subconscious. I try to be very open and organic, and I try to let things flow from me very unrestrained. And then I go back through and I edit for clarity. I usually start with lyrics, and then I find music, but sometimes I write the lyrics as I'm writing the music. So, you know, my process is a little different, kind of depending on how I'm writing. Also, it depends a lot if I'm writing with other people. If I'm writing with other people, obviously, we have to adapt our processes in order to work together. But when I'm writing alone, I usually just try really hard to kind of channel this free-flowing focus on a certain emotion or a certain aspect of my life, my past, what's going on around me, that kind of thing.
Y para finalizar esta charla, nuestra entrevista, ¿qué podemos esperar en Alaridos o evidentemente en el panorama de la música gótica, de la música dark de Iva Toric en el 2022? What can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond?
I will be releasing 4 new singles over the next year, and hopefully by the fall of 2022 I will release another full-length album. The album is darker and a little bit more consistent, I think, than The Devil's Mark, because the songs were written just by me. The Devil's Mark, I had a lot of co-writers on the songs, which is great. I'm not saying that that's not good, but because I wrote it during a pandemic, I didn't have the opportunity to sit down in a room with other musicians. So I wrote the next album very much alone, very much here in my studio, sitting at my keyboard, thinking about what was happening in the world around me. The first single is called Wasting Water. I've already shot a great music video for it. You're gonna love it. I had a snake. It was so cool. I had to really try not to smile every time I was holding the snake. I mean, it was just magical. You can expect another full-length album from me. In the meantime, check out The Devil's Mark. Check out my past videos. The Devil's Mark has 14 completely different songs on it. I was just exploring what I could do. Okay, well, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening. to my Q&A. Again, this Q&A is part of an interview with Alaridos magazine. They're a Spanish language goth culture, goth music magazine, and they also have a podcast. So please go check them out. Yeah, I hope all of you have a wonderful day, and it was really great answering your questions. Let's do this again sometime. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much, Iva Toric. Muchísimas gracias, Iva Toric, por este ratito. Y a continuación nos dejamos un vídeo adelanto de su nuevo single, Wasting Water. Disfruten y nos vemos pronto en Alaridos. Bye.